Hello. After doing some research, I realized that there were several angles to approaching errors when starting Oracle virtualization software, or Oracle Box, that is commonly known. And that's the purpose of making the video. People have attributed various, related issues or solutions, and the one that worked for me is the one that I'm going to focus on today. So without further ado, let's discuss that. Issues regarding the settings in the OS, the operational software, or Microsoft Windows have been attributed to this error. The error that I was getting was failed to acquire a VirtualBox COM object. So what does that all mean? Look, for those of you who've never used a COM object, there's certain plugins that Microsoft requires to do additional things. The one that I'm most used to, in fact, it's probably the only one I've ever used, is a plugin to run Power Pivot, and Power Pivot is required to do Power BI, I believe. Anyway, Power COM plugins are effectively, this extra layer of Windows programming. Anyway, long story short, that doesn't have as much to do, I think, with the issue as a missing file. So when you were running your Windows in the previous version and Oracle Box was working and you were able to log in and create machines and do things, it was following, some sort of instructions the way DLL works, right? Except the way the box machine is working, it's not really Windows, right? It's not DLL. It's using a schema that is sent in an XML file. So this XML file is embedded in your software. Your installation, your Oracle Box installation, comes with the .virtualbox folder, which comes with a .xml. Sometimes it's just labeled as Oracle Box. You'll find it. We'll look for it in this video. So evidently, when you upgraded your Windows, Oracle sends over a new XML file, but the XML file, for whatever reason, doesn't automatically replace the previous one. So you got two of them. So computer doesn't want you to forget your old installation, but it doesn't allow you to infer it. So you've got to go in and manually replace the old XML file, or copy the old XML file into the new one. That was the issue that I was having. And I don't mind troubleshooting. Look, I'm an IT guy. Maybe that's what you do. Half of my life is spent, troubleshooting. Half of my life is spent living, and very little work gets done. But the troubleshooting eventually, ends, and you do actually have to spend half your life working, right? So as you can see, I have a life, and therefore I can do videos to support people like you. All right, so let's move on. And if you found this somewhat funny and you found this like a step in the right direction, hit subscribe, thumbs up, send me a message. Maybe we can collaborate. I'm trying to grow the channel. Maybe get each of us involved in some profit-making mode where we answer somebody's question. They're actually going to pay for us and subscribe. All right. So again, thank you for your time. Ed Contreras here. Yep, we are now taking a closer look at a VirtualBox COM plugin missing, and in fact the exact error I think also indicates document file empty. Isn't it great as you grow your career in IT and realize that IT is supposed to be becoming so robust that it actually will tell you where your error is. And in this case, it's really not too different than your average L2 or L3 support ticket, right? You go through the code and find what error message was triggered, whether it's syntax, I won't go into details about my favorite errors, but they're often, for me as a developing Python programmer, I forgot to encapsulate my print statement with parentheses. And I'm like, oh, that's really stupid error. But my program isn't. Anyway, all right, so would you please confirm at this point that you were able to install VirtualBox from the Oracle website? In other words, it seems to run okay. It says 10%, 5%, 20%, whatever. Some people will run into an error where they're trying to reinstall it or repair it because you migrated your Windows version from 7, 8, 9, whatever it is, and you're now 10 or 11. And when you repair it, which was what I tried to do, it said failed to do this successfully. So again, like, how? What do you mean? I've downloaded it. There's nothing. What could be going wrong? Anyway, it's a normal reaction, but if you're patient and you're developing in your career as IT, you're realizing this is a step in the right direction. Go to details, copy these errors, do quick research online, however you can do it. You're about the 1,000th person today that came up with the error. So, you got to install the version that you feel best for your computer. I was trying to install VirtualBox at a specific point in time to use a specific version of software. So everybody's going to use a different version. That's the whole point of using virtual machines. You can install, or Docker, in fact, install whatever version you want of it. But if you're able to at least get to the point where you can click and start it, meaning there's an icon on your desktop called Oracle Box and you're able to start it, well, that's good. It means the stuff is there. You should normally be able to start it from your desktop icon, except for whatever reason this time it's not. Right, it's an upgrade from Windows, and Windows did something to the Oracle Box XML file. In fact, it replaced it with XML previous. So Oracle on the startup VirtualBox is looking for the XML, not the XML previous. It doesn't by default do anything, and evidently they're trying to collaborate to get this thing to work, and it's different operating systems, and we're IT people using this, so we will be able to figure it out. Let's see. To go into it into a little bit more depth, evidently some people are claiming, look, if this is your first time using VirtualBox, understand that Windows has a hypervisor setting and you want to do things manually, or it's got a virtual machine setting. And if you're able to do that right, you should be able to start VirtualBox no problem. Except if you're like me and you've been using VirtualBox in previous editions, you kind of don't remember the details of whether the hypervisor needs to be turned on, or the virtualization needs to be turned on with your firewall. That's not my problem. It's an operating system. It's a systems admin system. But effectively, if I remember correctly, you have to disable something or enable it. You should be able to try both, and it'll work. You don't have to remember either it works this way or doesn't. It's a yes, no, Boolean. At least there's a setting. And most help desks online, Stack Overflow, whatever it is. I'm a condescending, angry programmer. Website.com, do this. Anyway, most people will quickly remind you that, well, you can't do that anymore with an upgrade from Windows because it has hidden the settings so that, for whatever reason, security purposes, whatever, so people understand that Windows is a super cool thing that's always evolving and can't be free forever. So if you install the Enterprise Edition for $100, then you can do those things. However, I didn't want to quit, and I said I don't want to pay for the 100 one. I got a million computers laying around, one for work, one for home, one for entertainment, one for a backup, one for production. Who's going to spend $500? And I'm still not convinced that would work, right? Because I don't remember if that has anything to do with whether I got it up and running the first time. And I'm using various, versions of older software. So at the end of the day, I suspect something else is going on like you do. And I still run VirtualBox now on my home edition. All right. We just sit here and listen to garbage all day now. Or we can proceed with the video. I know, like you, I do need entertainment in my life. So let's just go ahead and move on. So moving right along here, on inspection of the VirtualBox installation folder, there was an XML file and an XML-previous file. The XML-previous file was populated. In the next slide, I'm going to show you what it is. It looks like a virtual copy of what you'll find in the configuration file when you do successfully open Oracle Box. You have to do a few things in there to allocate memory and X, Y, Z, but you'll see it's a very simple XML file talking about settings, and it's evidently got to be on your computer to work. Anyway, so what I did is I opened the XML previous file. I saw it. I cut and pasted into the XML file. I deleted the XML previous file, and all of a sudden, my box was working. Oracle Box is just great again, and I'm on the Home Edition. So let's move right along and take a look at the file. All right, so on this file, what we're going to do is watch two things. On the left, I'm going to show you how to go into your C drive, go to users, go to go to the VirtualBox installation, which you were able to download from Oracle. There it is. I went to users. My username is edcon at the bottom. So scroll down to your user on your computer, click on it, and you should be able to find the I got Anaconda for Python up there. I got Docker. I got SQL Workbench, which is for one form of SQL. Thinkorswim, VirtualBox. There it is. And over there. So once that stops playing on the left of the slide, go to the right one, hit play, and you'll see that in Windows Explorer I can't see everything on the left. I got to choose on the left. On the right shows me the files. So there it is, virtualbox.xml, virtualbox.xml, and I'll go ahead and move on to the next slide. All right, so to review, first thing we wanted to establish is this presentation mirroring your issue? If it's not, we'll have to go and discover it another way. But mine was issue was related to I have the home version apparently, and I have an error message requiring me to search for the failed acquire COM object, which on the internet on YouTube gives you a couple of other suggestions. And since they didn't work, I had to come up with my own, which I was able to find through URL, which I'll share at the end. So again, root cause was there's a VirtualBox file called virtualbox.xml. So you got to open it. It's in the users, your username, virtualbox folder. Open that and you'll find the XML file. Thank you. All right, so here again, we're just going to, watch the embedded video there where I opened up the XML file. You'll notice that it cites the XML version. I guess there's a data definition language or some kind of dictionary for how to read an XML file, which is just a bunch of simple wrappers. Global, the extra data item name, GUI, last Windows position value, whatever that means. Extra data item name, there's a graphic user interface, splitter sizes, there's a value, there's a status bar, the GUI toolbar machine tools order. So that's the end of the top section in the XML file. There's a machine registry wrapper, and then the next one is netserve registry, DHCP servers. That's dynamic host control. Yeah, whatever dynamic, I forget what that was. I did take internet working, so that's in the internet layer. The OSI model, right? DHCP server, network name, host interface, networking. VirtualBox is a host only Ethernet adapter. I think that's just enabling, internet access through the Ethernet, obviously. And then there's an IP address that you'll see, the mask, the network mask, which is effectively some subnetting feature, I guess. So when you're on the Oracle VirtualBox, you might be able to set up some subnetting for whatever reason. Isolation, you'll have to learn on your own. System properties, VirtualBox, hard disk format is VDI in this case. That's how mine was formatted. VRD, auth library. All the stuff that you had to set up, I think, in order to get a machine going is copied into an XML file by VirtualBox. It needs to be there. It can't be empty. All right. All right. So I'm trying to build a team. All right. Called Exeter Analytics. I live in New Hampshire here. The PowerPoint slides that I had chosen followed a template where they put random pictures of people and asked you to put names and titles. So you might imagine a team here with your name on it, with intern, future collaborator. It can't be me because that's me, and or future client. So I appreciate referrals. We're trying to learn how to, apply our knowledge in the workplace. I've always been involved with various teams that had massive issues of implementation, and maybe we can tackle these as a group in the future. Leave a like, subscribe, all those good things, and thanks for your time. In closing, thanks for your time. Again, this is a template that tells us about the summary of how to use a PowerPoint template. Feel free to use it. But let's move on to the references page where I want to show you the URLs where I got some help. It's basically references to prove that I got this online. So like everybody else, in IT, you've got to look at the error messages because it can help. So the very important first URL is virtualbox.org. There's a complete URL on this slide, https://forums.virtualbox.org. View topic, type it exactly as it is, copy and paste it. There's a couple YouTube videos that I saw that had similar information. They might not have been exactly what you need, but they show you if perhaps you have other issues, like do you have the right C++ version installed to run Oracle Box. I mean, that's an arcane issue. I hope you are wise enough to know when to update your C++ versions on Windows. And then my YouTube channel is at the bottom where I've got other interests, stocks and bonds, soccer. And I hope you enjoyed everything. Have a good day. Lastly, all songs that you heard in the background were not by me. They were by bands like Garbage. Ha ha ha. And if you want to reach out to me, there's my email. I got my YouTube videos or channel and LinkedIn profile.